Welcome back to Alluain. I'm the world building shrimp. This video will be going over the cycle. The cycle is the core process of the world of Alluain. In the previous video on the basis of the world, we discussed the creation of the world as well as the purpose of it. Aiki are the basis of the cycle of Alluain. The cycle was forged in order to see to all of the Aiki's needs, to keep them satisfied and contained within the world, out of trouble. There's a lot that needs to be explained when it comes to this process, but I'm sure it'll be reiterated in more detail in other videos. The definition of my strange words will appear on screen when I use them, but for those only listening, here they are formally. Feel free to skip this part. Numenon. Strong beings with influence over the workings of the world and those living in them. Numinous. A magical process, often non-physical or unseen, or something that doesn't quite make sense for the logic of our own world. Example. Something having only one body, but that body being in two separate places at once. Numen, magical energy. Etherin, a dimension made up of chaotic energy, inside which the various energy races were born. Avake, a numenon of Etherin. Shards, the largest pieces left after Avake shattered. Most are classified as numenon. Resonance, a state of harmony, alignment, and belonging. Resonance is characterized by a deep connection and synergy that enhances the properties, strengths, and potentials of the entities involved. The process and effect of resonance is different depending on what is resonating. Aiki and their resonant essence, Aiki and a being, or two beings. Essence. An essence is the intrinsic nature or indispensable quality of something, even something abstract. Things like warmth, a smile, the whisper of the wind. Fire is an essence, but so is warmth, burning, or the pain that comes from touching it. Now then, what are the Aiki? Aiki are the smaller shattered remnants of Avake. The Aveiki's basic need is to find and resonate with their specific essence. They search for this resonance, and once they find it, they resonate with it. Resonance is not like eating it, they just need to numinously exist in the same space as that essence. For example, an Aiki sitting in a fire. It does not consume the fire and in fact only enhances it. Or an Aiki that has numinously settled inside a person, known as indwelling, can commune with the emotions that person is feeling, and again enhance that essence, making the emotion stronger. This active resonance draws energy from Etherin. Once they are fully satisfied, they enter into a dormant state. After a while, they reawaken to go find it again. Aiki possess abilities and cognizance correlated to their size. They are so drawn towards their resonance that they cannot function without access to it. The cycle ensures that all Aiki will have access to their essence when they are in need of it. There are a great many things that need to work together towards a cohesive cycle. There are an untold amount of Aiki in existence. It's no surprise that the Numenon failed at creating a stable world for so many attempts. But what makes it a cycle? When an Aiki is offered or finds their compatible essence, they resonate and create energy. This energy, known as Numen, can then be left to diffuse across the area or collected for future use. Because of the pieces of Avake, the entirety of Alluain has an ambient background radiation of Numen. If too much Numen is left in an area, the buildup of energy will cause magic poisoning in living things. Magic poisoning can cause cells to mutate, overheat, or stop functioning. It can cause death, disease, curses, mutation, and madness. Curses are a case of magic poisoning that becomes long-lasting, permanent, or genetic. So something needs to take in that energy and utilize it. And helpfully, not only does the utilization of magic keep the concentration of stray Numen at manageable levels, magic is also a pivotal source of essences. The cycle needs living things capable of using magic in order to be maintained. Inhabitants were brought to the world, procured from Earth, to help upkeep the cycle, sentient and non-sentient life. Humans, animals, plants, fungi, bacteria, etc. Through the shards, the ability to create and manipulate essences was written into the inhabitants of the world. These abilities are called affinities. Using their affinities, they create an essence for the Aiki, and the Aiki brings in the energy needed for continued use of magic. This energy can be used for anything, fulfilling more Aiki or using magic for personal gain. For the cycle to exist, life needs to abide and work within it. and through magic, the inhabitants of the world were given an incentive to want to. Without the shards, they never would have gained magic. Without the Aiki, they wouldn't have the energy needed to perform magic. So this is the cycle. An Aiki gets an essence. The Aiki brings Numen to the world from Aetherin. That energy is utilized to make more essence. Repeat. In order for this to run smoothly, you need someone to maintain it. The shards are at the forefront of keeping the cycle stable. Some shards rule their own territories like a governing body. Others leave it entirely to the country's inhabitants to tend to, at least until something goes wrong. Then they have to clean up a disruption to the cycle. They fix up the problem and then release the cycle back into the wild. The bare minimum is enough. Let the people deal with the day-to-day. If it isn't entirely broken, don't fix it. Some shards are the opposite and deal with every tiny problem as it arises. The shards each have responsibilities over their own territories, their area of influence. I call them shard fields. Something I want to mention, because it's what's being drawn in this speed paint, are the altars. Altars are pieces of the shard that have been placed around the shard field. They are still a part of the shard whilst being in separate places, like the example of Numinous used earlier. The altars help keep their influence spread evenly across their fields, as well as the distribution of Numen, so one area doesn't become too concentrated. And it allows people living within the field easy access to offering essence. The shards aren't alone in their endeavor to uphold the cycle. Underneath their authority are those that help them achieve and maintain stability. These include the various Vake, like the Aelvake and the Dwervake, and the Shardholden. There are many processes and beings that work together to upkeep the cycle, but they deserve their own time and effort and aren't necessary for this video. Still, I don't know when those videos will be made, so here's a tasty little preview of the topics. The Shardholden are those chosen by the shard to hold a small piece of themselves within their bodies. This grants power, but also a lot of responsibility. It also comes with direct communication to the shard itself. The severity of this connection depends on the shard and how they want to use their Holden. Some are direct mouthpieces for the shard, while others are just finely honed tools. The Shardholden can use many different affinities, any that their shard might require as an essence, though they usually focus on a fraction of them so that they can use them with skill. Their lifespan and tolerance for magic is also increased. Living factories. These are Manuvrian beings that work alongside larger Aiki and shards to produce magic artifacts, foremost of which are Ashea, crystals that contain affinities. When magic is funneled through them, the affinity inside can be used by anyone. Magic artifacts wear down with each use and must be replaced when they run out. Ashea, once empty of the affinity blueprint, can act as an essence holder. These Ashea can then be presented at altars to offer the essence inside to the shard, or just to an Aiki. Living dungeons. The living dungeons are another kind of Manuvrian. Large beings that work alongside shards in order to create situations that will produce essence, like mazes, trials, or combat arenas, with rewards, hidden rooms, and monsters to fight within. Blessings. A blessing is a genetic rewrite given by the shard. This is usually done when an essence is lacking in a certain area of their field, and their blessing is targeted towards fixing that. One example of a blessing is a subrace of one of my sentient peoples, whom I have forgotten the name of and cannot find. They were blessed so that their blood could act as an enhancer in alchemical mixes. This is not always a good thing for them. Timed invasions. There are some areas of the world that are subject to regular conflict with monsters, and this was set into motion as a way to create essence. Violence, anger, victory, fear, failure, despair, relief. Not all essences are pleasant. Certain areas of the world have higher concentrations of certain Aiki, such as places with conflict having Aiki related to that, and places of peace hosting Aiki whose essence is calm, happiness, tranquility. Aiki enhance the essences that they resonate with, so the places they live in the world have heightened versions of those essences, transforming calm places into more of a paradise, and places of war into heightened senses of conflict. That's all I have for the cycle for now. If you have any questions remaining, please ask in the comments. I do love talking to you, and it counts as some tasty engagement, so this video can be shoved under more people's noses. Don't forget to eat, do fun things. Talk to you later.